All right, welcome back to the channel. I figured today we go over what's near and dear to me, my collection here of gaming over the years that I've collected, all my ROMs and consoles and stuff. My build, I should say. As you can see here, I have Launchbox loaded up here. For those that don't know, Launchbox is a front end loader. Um, Pretty good. I know there's a couple more out there, very popular. I like Launchbox. I've been using it and I'm comfortable with it. Not to say that it's better or worse than any of the other ones out there. It's just what I'm familiar with, so I stick to it. But yeah, I have Launchbox. I also have the paid version, which I'll show in this video later, of Big Box. I'm just gonna go through here and show you guys what I have on my setup. Um, let's start with the top. Everything is categorized here, nice and neat. So if we go into the arcade section, I got about 1,700 different arcade titles in here. Go through it real quick, and you can see some pretty popular and known old school 80s and up arcade games that you would go and spend quarters and play. Pretty cool to have all these in here. Um, Moving on. Anybody that knows Thomas Wave, I have that collection here as well. Um, I think I have everything in here as a full set. From my cross-checking and stuff, I'm almost positive. I'm only one person, not 100% sure. But if anybody sees anything and wants to call it out, let me know what I'm missing and I'll add it. Would love to complete anything that I don't have completed. Then we have the Sega Model 2. This was pretty cool. Daytona USA. Virtual On, big game, Sega Saturn when that came out. House of the Dead, Sonic Championship. Who doesn't like the Tekken version of Sonic? So some cool stuff in here. Sega Model 3, same situation when they came out. Virtual Fighter 3 was a big hit. Sega Naomi. You start getting into the better, more known games, I would say, or the memorable ones. Capcom versus SNK. Capcom versus SNK 2 is probably my favorite, and debatably, I might get some crap in the comments, but I think the best fighting game ever created. If you haven't played it, play it. Fantastic game. Marvel versus Capcom 2. On the debate on best game, I still think SNK is better, but this one is right there with it. So, yeah, I got Triforce. Not many games on it, but the Mario Kart bowling alley version. You go to a bowling alley usually for whatever reason they're in there. It's pretty cool. And then Technoparrot, which is the newer arcade games. Technoparrot is a great emulator for those that don't have it. They want to emulate newer versions of games that are in the arcade. Got some pretty cool stuff in here as well. Um, some stuff is paid. There's paywalls for some of this stuff, but really cool if you can figure it out. It's a little bit difficult to emulate and configure, but once you get the hang of it, maybe I'll give a tutorial on here if people ask for it. But yeah, Technoparrot's really cool. But this launchbox is cool because I can integrate all these things. I'll show you when I load up the big box, um, and it'll just have it all in one spot for me, one spot shop. I can play all these games. And I have some PC stuff. 1600 Scum VM 223. We got some window games. These are the newer version of games. I'm not quite done with this on my setup. You see some stuff is missing, but the new RoboCop game and stuff like that. Dying Light. These I have to organize a little more. These in this Windows section is what I have that I'm not organized. I have a PC section I'll show you in a second. But we'll go to the consoles. I got, we'll start with 3DO, 197, believe is a full ROM set. So, the Amiga, 165, Amstrad the GX. This is the console version. Atari 2600, 645, 5200 to 7800. Jaguar CD, ColecoVision. It's a big one for people that are into gaming. It's this is the epitome of retro. Most people think Atari, but I think Coleco is think retro. Burger Time. I mean, great game. You got the Fairchild. Then we have more of the, I should say, not modern, but a little more modern than these things. But the GameCube, 646. Vectrex, man, that's even before my time, but it's pretty cool. Got to actually play this when I was younger, so it's nostalgic. And television, all retro stuff. But then I also have an integrated, 360. I have 604 games. So I believe this is the, if I'm not mistaken, let me see here. These are the online games. Yes, these aren't the game titles for the 360. These are the Play Store type of things. Digital store. And then, nope. Just go through some of this stuff. TurboGrafx was a big hit. 312. Afterburner 2 is huge. Big games. A lot of the Japanese stuff is in here. Really cool stuff to play. You have the TurboGrafx CD. Awesome graphics when this thing came out. It's pretty cool. 64, 419 games. Again, I believe it's a full set. NES, 871. Almost positive this is a full set. I've double checked this a million times. It's probably my favorite system growing up. I grew up with the NES, so played almost all of these games. Bad Dudes. This is the first time I played a game where I heard vocals on it. Guy just screams, "I'm bad" in the background. It's fantastic. You go down. Famicom, the disc version, so this is a PC. And then we have the console version. It's 1,000 games on this. A lot of Japanese, a lot of duplicates of the NES, but it's in the Famicom version. Maju Dracula, Castlevania. Switch, 231. I recall when I did my double checking here, the Switch has thousands and thousands of games, but if you're looking at their marketplace and stuff, if you're just looking at titles that were strictly exclusive to the Switch that were actual game on hand, I believe these are the ones. So maybe some not exclusive, but all just hard case games. Donkey Kong. Let me see here. Fire Emblem. Yeah, so you got some pretty Kirby. Kirby's, Return to Dreamland. It's a pretty cool game. You got all the Zeldas. Luigi's Mansion. Mario for days. It's just a regular Switch, not the Switch 2. But yeah, I mean, each one of these games is roughly $60 a pop right now, so. The Pokemons. Yeah, these are more, I guess, the modern Sonic games. Super Dragon Ball. Mario Maker, huge hits. Mario Jamboree, Mario Party. Super Mario RPG. It's actually pretty good. comparisons to the original. I usually don't say that. I usually tend to stick to the original. The remakes I don't like. This one was actually really good. Yeah, Smash Bros. So yeah, I got the Switch stuff. Virtual Boy, which most people don't have emulated because if you emulate this, crappy music and red and black. Nobody wants that. But, you know, for complete, having a complete, profile, I like to have everything. I did play the game, so I have them. Got the Wii. The Wii has 1,200 games. Same thing. I believe I have all of the Wii games. Yeah, there's tons of Wii games. Wii was big with the nunchucks and all that stuff. It was huge. CDI. Most people don't even know of the existence of this thing, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not sure where it falls on the CD game port stuff like that. I know it's one of the pioneers of it. I'm not sure who did it first, but it's pretty cool. You get to like watch movies and stuff. This one here, Dragon Slayers. Like I'm sure if you're into gaming, you've seen this played over and over again. So you get to watch a movie and play kind of a movie style. You got the 32X. Sega has so many different versions, so I try to do my best and get them all. Sega CD. CD 32X didn't have many games, but the games it had, I think Corpse Killer was an exclusive for this though, so maybe even this Slam City. Scottie Pippen had his own game, man. You got the Dreamcast, huge, 431. Man, what a shame with this system. Um, Piracy really killed this system. If I remember correctly, I think you were able to just burn the games on just a regular PC. They didn't have any kind of encrypted coding or security measures. So you one for one just copy the game and it would work. So unfortunately killed this system, but this system was great. There goes the original Genesis. 828 is another near and dear to me. Countless hours on all these games. Um, the Mark III, which is one of the earlier versions of the Sega Masters 347. Mega Drive, which is a huge hit as well with people. A lot of Japanese stuff. 502 there. Sega Saturn. On par relationship with the PS1, I believe. Man, the games were great for this too. Didn't have that much of a lifetime, but games like Shining Force, really good games came out on this. Knights, they just Duke Nukem, Tomb Raider, stuff like that. Just like changing the way gaming, revolved around everything. So it was pretty cool. Neo Geo, huge, 157. That I know is a full set for sure. So I have all the Neo Geo stuff. For those that didn't know, Neo Geo did have a CD version, not many games, but pretty cool. Sony PlayStation 1, 1915. This one gets a little crazy when people talk about full sets. I mean, I know this is a full set. This is a North American full set. Now there's different, there's European version of games, Japanese versions and stuff. There's multiple versions of the same game. But yeah, Alundra, man, what a great game if you're into RPGs. But yeah, I think this is. I'm almost positive it's a full set as well. And yeah, this one, this two, this three, this four, this five. The only thing I don't have are the demos. And, they had a crap ton of demos. I did not keep those around. But yeah, besides actual games, actual game titles, I have them here. PlayStation 2, 1994. Same conversation with the PS1. Different versions, different sets, but North American set this is. And it should be a full set. I'm not gonna spiral down here. I'll be here all day showing you guys these, but yeah, all these titles are full. I have all the images and all the videos and everything laid out nice and neat on my setup. Very OCD with that. Um, Famicom, Super Nintendo. A lot of the Japanese stuff. 1376. A lot of titles to go through here, and you'll see a lot of duplicates into one of the best systems that anyone can play at any time. These games hold up to this day. These are Super Nintendo is probably one of the better systems with memorable titles that hold up. Great stuff here. I mean, I think Metroid was probably Super Metroid, I should say, is probably one of the best games. If you played it at the time of the release, it just was just groundbreaking for some of the stuff that did. And there's tons of titles I can name and go on all day long. If you get into gaming, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, try to get all the cartridges the same. It's hard to find the actual cartridge images, but try to stay consistent with some of the stuff as best as I could. WiiWare, and then the original Xbox, which is 258. I believe same thing. These are just the exclusives to Xbox. When you are making any kind of set, it can get repetitive if you have similar consoles like the PS1, and they're not exclusive. So what I try to do is on the system that I prefer the PS, the Sony stuff. I kept all those games, and when it came, or any duplicate games, I should say, when it came to systems like the Xbox, which is great, I try to just keep the exclusives only. So you'll find like the Halos and just exclusives. So I believe exclusive wise, there is 258. They aren't cross-platformed. So I have all those here. Just takes up a lot of space on a hard drive, so I'll try to be as efficient as I can to get more games crammed in. As you can see here, I got just shy of 30,000 games, but no duplicates. Um, just good stuff. There goes the Halos. Halo. Really good stuff, man. Got another time point for gaming. Things just changed. And then I got a lot of the handheld stuff. So the Atari Lynx, a lot of people don't even know the existence of this system. Not many games on it, but really good system. Gauntlet, Lemmings, just great titles. Megaduck, pretty cool. If you haven't checked it out, it's worth checking out. Not much to see, but it's cool. 3DS, 869. You got the regular DS, 2000. I got the Game Boy, 511, Game Boy Advanced, 868, and the Game Boy Color, 585. So this is the same thing, Game Boy Color. A lot of the titles get duplicated, but the color, the games were in color. So I tried to include all the games for the Game Boy Color as much as I could because of the fact that they can be played in color. But yeah, the PlayStation Minis, Game Gear. Game Gear was a pretty cool console, man. Anybody that had a game, I had a Game Gear. I thought it was pretty cool. My mom decided to opt Game Gear instead of Game Boy at the time of that war. Game Gear was cool, man. It was huge, and it sucked batteries up like nothing I've ever seen before. If you were buying batteries, luckily for me, eventually Santa came and got me one of those rechargeable battery packs. It was about 20 pounds. But yeah, if you were using this thing, I think it took 8 AA batteries or 8 on each side. I think it was 16. It was something outrageous, and it just ate through that quickly. But the system was cool. Nice screen, great button feedback. It was cool. Neo Geo Pocket color. And the PSP, which is another big system when this came out, or handheld, I should say. This was huge. 696. I think I have all the titles as well on this. Man, this system was great, and this system still holds up. If you go and play some of this, these games are outstanding. and graphics and sound and all that stuff. Very good system. Supervision, WonderSwan. WonderSwan's got a lot of Japanese stuff, but it's another cool thing to check out. Like the Game Boy Black and White, but included the color version here. It's pretty cool. See some of this stuff. Then here is the games I was saying, the PC games. These are the more, I have 240. These are the more up to time where I had where did I have it? The Windows games. Same thing. These are just organized. These I know are working. I have all the medias that I need for them. So I have 240. Get the Assassin's Creeds, Batman, Bioshocks, Blasphemous 1 and 2. Fantastic games. These the Bloodstains, which are absolutely fantastic. If no one's ever played them, definitely check it out. Black Ops 6, you know, uh, more modern for sure. This just came out recently, which is fantastic. Again, favorite games in here, so I gotta go with that. And Crisis Core, Cuphead. Try to get a diverse amount of games on here because these games do take a lot of space on a hard drive. So forgot to mention, I think this is a 24 terabyte hard drive that I'm showing you guys, and there's not much left. I might have 2 terabytes left. Try to keep some of that space free so that it doesn't clump up the hard drive, but I think it's 24. Yes, it is a 24 terabyte. So with Fallouts, Final Fantasy Remake. This I know, the integrated version, pretty new. Grand Theft Autos, Halos, House of the Dead, the remake stuff, fantastic. Killer Instinct, pretty cool. This is New Messenger. I like that game. New Power Ranger stuff. So yeah, I mean it's everything. Ninja Gaiden, Ragebound. This game was great. This game was really fun. This is brand new, so you can see here I got a lot of the newer stuff. Evil, big Resident Evil fan. I will be doing a Resident Evil Requiem. I just launched, or is just launching, I should say. So I will be covering that. Can't wait for that. Silent Hill F. Tekken 8, Terminator 2D. It's a nice variety of games here that I think I put together. Pinball, 363 different pinball games. This is pretty cool for anybody that likes to play like the virtual pinball type of stuff. I got it here. Something for everybody. Stuff like Castlevania, different themes. Pretty cool. There's an endless amount of pinball games here. Jaws, retro stuff, the Jetsons, Kiss, Knight Rider, um, Mars Attacks. Stuff that you would see the Minions. So, things that you would see in actual pinball machines is cool, and this thing replicates it pretty well. Sound, feel, everything. It's pretty cool the way they got to integrate this in the PC. Um, yeah, and then I have the arcade pinball stuff. So this is pretty cool. They're like monster pinball games. Got it all unlocked. FX3. Got tons of games. So all in all, these are all the systems that I have. Yeah, I figured I'd just showcase it. If you guys see any systems or consoles or things that you think I'm missing, I should have, leave it in the comments. Write me something. Send me a message and let me know for sure. I'd love to include. I said I'm only one person and I have a bias for a lot of things. So a lot of times we overlook things because of our biases. So I might be missing something and I'd love to have it. I try to be a completionist and have as many things as I can. So I think I did a good job this personal collection of mine over the years, and I figured it was at a point where I should showcase it. I've gotten a lot of hard drives that I've bought in like the what are they called, like the kin hacks and stuff that you can get off of Amazon or different complete systems you can buy from people and stuff. And Unfortunately, I've always been a little bit unhappy in a sense of it's not complete, or there's certain games missing, or it was rusty, or missing images. So I decided to just take what I had and compile it. So I did it here, and yeah, I figured, you know, if I'm not gonna be happy with other people's stuff, I should just make my own. But if anybody has any questions, I got some knowledge with the Launchbox. Again, this is my preferred front end to use. I'm gonna load up Big Box now so you can see the coolness of how it is when it's all integrated with Big Box. Launchbox just has a the nice little clean layout like this. With Big Box, you start to get the theme sets and stuff. So I'm gonna get right into that and just load that up for you guys. All right, so here is Launchbox, but when you load it in Big Box. So here's all the same systems that we were talking about before, just in a nice, cleaner, three-dimensional setup. Looks more like a complete system. It's pretty cool, but I'll go through it real quick so you can see. I have it set up here where every category has its own little setup, runs its own videos on each game, its own data on there. Here we have the Super NES. Go into that real quick. It's pretty cool. Shows you the game, the actual cartridge, and then it at times shows you an image or a video on the, there you go, TV screen. It'll play. Give you feedback on what it is you're selecting. It's nice and clean. Famicom, there you go. Let you know it's Famicom. Okay, just nice and clean. PlayStation does the same thing. Looks just like it looked when I first got my PS1. Just showcase some of the systems because they're different for each category. Keep it fresh, keep it clean. PC games. Pretty cool the way this loads it up. So yeah, I try to do a good job at organizing the media and stuff. This is one of the issues that I find when I buy or use someone else's builds. There's a lot of times you have a lot of duplicates or missing stuff or missing medias, and with the OCD that I have, I figured I'd make my own. Nintendo Switch. This one's pretty neat because it is the Nintendo Switch HUD, which I think is pretty cool and clever. But yeah, you have all these. So if anybody has a Nintendo Switch knows, just this category alone, it's thousands and thousands of dollars you got to spend to have this stuff. So it's pretty cool to have this all organized at your fingertips on just one gaming hard drive. The color, yeah, this one's cool. The game shows you the cartridge, case, and plays the game. Simulates it on what the Game Boy would look like. It's pretty cool. Don't know if I would have picked the green lime one, but it's pretty cool. Same thing. Just nice and clean. Awesome. So it just runs pretty quick and clean. But it's pretty cool though. Big boxes got a lot of themes and a lot of presets, things you can use. But if you're savvy enough or if you're willing to learn, it's super customizable and just looks awesome. I would recommend anyone use it, but again, I have a bias because this is the one that I've always used and the one that I know. But yeah, so I went through it all. You can see it all there, but I think I'll show you this one real quick. This is pretty cool. Take a model. This one's cool. So this one, you can see the arcade shifts with the game, so it's pretty cool. And pretty clever. There's another one here. See if it'll pop to me when I see it. Did show the arcade, I think. But this one's cool. It's probably my favorite one. Again, got the arcade games, but it shows you the arcade games, like if you're actually there in the 90s, or even in the 2000s. Showing up with a bunch of quarters in your pocket, ready to blow through them as quickly as you could. In a game like this, Altered Beast. Oh, we're up. Let me hear it. There it is. Yeah. I figured I'd showcase some of this stuff. If anybody has any questions or comments or wants to leave any feedbacks, please feel free to do so. Criticisms, are welcome. Need any help, have any trouble with emulation or Launchbox or Big Box, feel free to reach out to me. I appreciate the viewership. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.